very good afternoon and hi. Today we Group A2, Group 2 going to do a video presentation for the course Unit Operation Lab 2 by lecturer Dr. Taslima Kanam on the title of Experiment Batch Liquid Reactor. Before we go into our experiment of batch liquid reactor, it's my honor to introduce the presenters from my group, who will be myself, Sivaneeswaran Nageswaran from the batch May 2011, and my fellow teammates Azlan Ramali from the batch September 2012, Raymond September 2011, and last but not least, Noor Hidayu Jamal September 2012. And today the outline for our presentation will be, we will be having our friend Noor Hidayu presenting introduction and theory, where she will be covering about the fundamentals of batch liquid reactor according to the saponification process carried out in this experiment. She will be also explaining about the rate of reaction and corresponding equations, and of course the applications of batch liquid reactor in current industry. Next we will be having our friend Lan presenting objective, methodology and procedure, where he will be covering the objective that deals with temperature effect on saponification process, and he will be also explaining the important system apparatus involved in operating procedures. And moving on, we will be having Raymond to explain about result, calculation, discussion, where he will be covering the graph obtained in terms of concentration, conversion and conductivity, and we also explaining about simple calculations involved to obtain the result, and as well as the discussion of the relationship of the parameter involved in this experiment. And last but not least, myself will be covering concluding the whole experiment to give a summarized and clearer view about saponification of batch liquid reactor. And with that, I would like to pass the floor to our first outline, introduction and theory, which will be presented by Noor Hidayu.
Hello everyone, my name is Noor Hidayu Jamal, and today I would like to proceed with the introduction and the theory of this experiment. Okay, as you know, a reactor is equipment used in which raw materials are being processed to produce. Hello everyone, my name is Noor Hidayu Jamal, and today I would like to proceed with the introduction and theory for this experiment. As you all know, a reactor is the equipment in which raw materials are being processed into a desired product under a chemical range. And in this experiment, we should be able to conduct a well-known saponification reaction between ethyl acetates and sodium hydroxides. Okay, as a general chemical reaction for saponification reaction is the chemical reaction between acid and base to produce salt and water. And in this experiment, the salt is referred to the soap. Okay, basically, two reactions occur in this experiment. The first one is the glycerol is turning into a specific glycerin, and the second one is a combining between acid and base to produce soap. Okay, as we all know, batch reactor there's no feed or exit stream, so that we can make assumption that rate of air loss within the reactor is equal to the rate of air accumulated within the reactor. For the equation for this experiment is negative RA equal to 1 over V, dNA over dt, which is the V is referred to the unit volume, dNA mole of A produced, and dt is the unit time. Okay. The application batch reactor is widely used in our industry. Okay, there's some example of the uses, which is the first one is used for laboratory application. Okay, batch reactor is used for a small scale production and also for inducing fermentation of beverage production. The second one is medical production. The third one is used for experiment of kinetics, voltage and thermodynamics. And the fourth one is highly used in wastewater treatment. Wastewater reactor is very effective in reducing BOD, which is biological oxygen demand, in effluent untreated water. Okay, now I would like to pass to my Azlan to proceed with the.
Hello everyone, my name is Azlan and I will be explaining to you about the objective, methodology and procedure of the experiment. First, we look at the objective of the experiment, which is only one. It is to study the effect of temperature on batch saponification reaction of ethyl acetate and sodium hydroxide. Okay, next is the methodology. In methodology, we'll be looking at the important parts for a liquid batch reactor. Okay, basically this unit consists of reactor, feed inlet system, water bus, product waste tank, control panel and data acquisition system. The reactor consists of glass vessel. The top and bottom plate is made out of stainless steel and it comes with a cooling coil, temperature sensor and stirrer system. For the feed inlet system, it has 2 feed tanks, 2 pumps, needle valves and meter flow rate. The water bus is used to heat the reactant in the feed tank, and the product waste tank is to collect the product or waste before they are being discharged. The control panels are used for controlling the operation unit, such as the temperature or the stirrer speed. And the data acquisition system basically is a computer which is to collect the data and tabulation of it. Okay, for the procedure, assuming that the feed the procedure has been done. First, we pump 1 liter of ethyl acetate and 1 liter of sodium hydroxide into the reactor. And then, after we pump into the reactor, we set the reaction temperature into 40 degrees Celsius and run the cooling water. And next, we switch the heater H1, we switch the stirrer and we set it as 200 RPM. And then immediately start the timer. Okay, after that, we record the conductivity or the readings at the interval of 1 minute. When the reading seems constant, we stop the experiment. And then we drain off the reactor content and we do again the experiment, but we change the reaction temperature to 40 degrees Celsius. After all of that, we switch off all switches and then drain off all liquid from the reactor. Okay, next I will pass to Raymond for the result discussion.
Okay. Hi everyone, now I'll be proceeding to my part, which is the results, calculation and discussion. Okay, so we tabulate the data that we obtain from the experiment, which is the conductivity and conversion. So we add in a few more data, which is the concentration, which is Ca, 1 over Ca, and last but not least, non-Ca naught over Ca. This is for the first part of our experiment, which is 30 degrees Celsius. So we do the same thing for the 40 degrees Celsius, which is we obtain from the experiment that we have done. Okay. So for 30 degrees Celsius, for both 30 and 40 degrees Celsius, we plot the graph of conversion versus conductivity. Okay. So to see whether the reaction is in which order, we plot 3 different graphs. The first graph is graph of concentration versus time. This is to check whether the order is at 0 order. Okay. Then the next graph is graph of non-Ca naught over Ca versus time. This is to see whether the reaction is at first order. And last but not least, the graph of 1 over C. Okay. Now next, we do the same thing for 40 degrees. Okay. We plot the graph of conversion versus conductivity. The same graph, which is the concentration versus time. Ln Ca naught over Ca versus time. And last but not least, 1 over Ca versus time. So now I'll be proceeding to the next part, which is the calculations. But before that, I would like to show you some graphs just now. So, based on the three graphs, the most linear graph that we obtain is a graph of 1 over Ca versus time. So as we know, we need to find the order of the reaction. So we need to find the most linear graph, which is, as we can see from here, comparing the previous one, the previous graph, we can see that graph of 1 over Ca versus time is the most linear. So we can say that the reaction is at second order. So for a reaction to be at second order, that is our equation. And then we derive it. So the last equation would be this. Okay, so when t equals to 30 degrees, from the slope of the graph of 1 over Ca versus time, we can see that the rate constant K is 0.1815 per mole per minute. As we can see from here, there above, for 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then from there, we can calculate our y-intercept, which is 0.102 mole. Then after that, we can calculate our rate of reaction. Okay. So we do the same thing for the 40 degrees Celsius. We calculate the slope, the y-intercept, and in the end, the rate of reaction. Okay. As we can see from the rate of reaction, we can see that 40 degrees has the higher rate of reaction compared to the 30 degrees. Now I'll be entering the part of discussion. Okay. Just now I said that the notation of conversion versus conductivity graph, I will explain it later. So I'll explain it here. Why do we plot that graph? See, conductivity probe measures the ability of a solution to conduct an electric current between two electrodes. So basically, in a solution, there will be current flows by ion transport. Okay, therefore, we can see that an increasing concentration of ions in a solution will result in higher conductivity values. So based on from the table just now, we can see that the values are keep on increasing for conversion. Okay. As we can see, the time of reaction prolongs, the product of sodium acetate will yield at higher amount, thus an increase in conversion. So from the values obtained, we can deduce that the increase in conversion simply decrease the conductivities with respect to time. Okay. Why is it so? This is because the reactants are being allowed to react more efficiently to yield the product, hence causing a decrease in numbers or concentration of reactant time. So the reactants ion get lesser as they react to produce sodium acetate, so causing fewer ions to be inside the solution, and hence it loses its conductivity. Okay. So what about the tree graph then? Okay, we use differential method. Why we use differential method is to know that the order of reaction. So we plot three different graphs to determine the order of reaction. So just like what I explained just now, the first graph is plotting of Ca versus time to check for zero order. Second graph is to plot ln Ca0 over Ca versus time to check for first order. And the last but not least, the third graph, which is the plotting of 1 over Ca versus time to check for second order. So as we can see from the graph just now, all two for 30 degrees and 40 degrees are at second order. Okay, so since we obtain the most linear graph, which is at 1 over Ca versus time, so we can conclude it is second order. Okay, therefore we apply the equation just like what we did for our calculation part. And based on the result we obtained from the graph, we can calculate our rate constant K. Then it also has to be found out that the rate of reaction is higher when temperature is higher. Why is it so? It is because in a high temperature, the particles gain more energy. When they gain more energy, they collide more with the surrounding molecules. So when, in the end, it creates more interaction between the molecules. So therefore, more products will be converted faster. So as a conclusion, the rate of reaction is higher in 40 degrees compared to the rate in 30 degrees. So that's all for my part. So I'll pass it to Siva.
Hi, it's me again, Siva. And that's it about our experiment batch liquid reactor. And allow me to give a brief conclusion about what we have looked some moment ago. Basically, we have looked into the introduction, simple introduction, what is batch liquid reactor about, what is saponification process about, and we have looked into the applications of it, and we have also highlighted the objective of this experiment, that is the study of the temperature, and we have looked into the design of the apparatus, the system involved, the simple operating procedures, and we have moved in to the results and discussion part, where we obtained few different graphs for two temperatures, that is for 30 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Celsius. As well, we have also obtained graphs for finding rate of reaction and order of reaction. And moving on to discussion, we have also studied the relationship between the conversion and conductivity, where we deduced that the increase in conversion can decrease the conductivities to their respective time. And through the graph, we have also managed to investigate and find out that the experiment that we conducted followed the order of reaction, the second order. And as a conclusion, we can tell that the rate of reaction is simply higher in 40 degrees Celsius compared to the rate of reaction if it were to be conducted in 30 degrees Celsius. Thank you. That's all from our team.